Hey everyone. Okay, so here we are doing another page in the Boho Beach Journal. And today I am simply going to be doing some collage with some of the Gelli prints that I've prepared. So I'm just going to kind of grab some of my papers here to work with. So if you guys are following me on Facebook, my page is Yvette St.Amant Fine Arts. I always do, post my artwork, my fine artwork that I do and the work that I do for home decor. And so I thought today I would incorporate a little bit of that into my Boho Beach art journal. I just wanted to, I want to do something kind of simple and share one of the techniques I use in my art. So that's what we're doing today, and I'm just going to be doing some simple collages. And if you're familiar with rock cairns, that's what I'm going to be creating in my beach journal. So I've got my Gelli prints here. I'm kind of using these like coastal tones, blues, sandy, sand color, beiges, creams, a little bit of navy blue. And the pages that I'm going to use are quite simple. I've got a page here that's just sand, and then this is a page that I prepared in one of my tutorials using glimmer mist. So they're really going to be a simple kind of artistic page. So I'm going to start off basically just cutting shapes, like little, stone shapes. And I'm using my Gelli prints. Just a minute here. My dog came in the room, and we don't want to hear him snoring because when he falls asleep, he likes to snore. Okay. So I'm just going to cut some little stone shapes in various sizes and do some kind of like elongated ones. Grab some different papers, and I'm going to do little ones and some bigger ones. I had one of these that was already cut. I'm going to use that in a different journal. And I'm just going to cut a whole bunch out, and then I'll figure out, I might not use all of them. I might use some. I might cut more. But if I cut just a bunch, then I can kind of start laying them out and seeing which ones I want to use. I like using ones with a variety of textures and patterns. Also over on my Facebook page, at Yvette St.Amant Fine Arts, I go on live weekly to give art tips. And it's just, on Facebook Live, and I'll share what's going on with my art. Sometimes I do little giveaways, and I'll promote some new products that I have, or I'll just give tips on home decor, how to hang art, various ways to frame or assemble art on the walls. So it's a little bit of everything. Sometimes I'm, showing a technique. Sometimes I'm sharing some tools and products that I like to use in my art. I like to share that with everybody so you can try the things that I've tried. I know that's how I've gotten to learn a lot about various mediums and tools, is just from other artists. It's nice to, you know, share. You see somebody using a particular pen and you want to know, you know, where they got it, what brand it is, that kind of thing. So I like to go over there and share that with you guys. So go on over and check it out. No commitment. I just completely give that away to the people that follow me as a thank you. Okay, I should do a couple little, well, I'll get to the little ones if I need the little ones. Okay, so I've cut a variety of shapes out and just put them down here. What I'm going to start doing is just kind of figuring out where I want the shapes. Let me see if I can get something to flip my pages down, because my art journal is getting really fat here with all the goodies that I've been putting in it. Gotta try to get these get this flat so I can work with it. Aren't these clips amazing? So these are jumbo paper clips, and I love them when I'm doing my art journal, because I can just clip my pages down while I work. And I got them at Tuesday Morning. They're called Office Envy. Let's see if they have a website for you guys, because I do want to share this. No, there's no website on here, but it's called Office Envy Jumbo Paper Clips. So if you want to do like a search on Google or Amazon, these are fantastic. Or if you've got a Tuesday Morning around, I don't know if they're still going to have them there, but they were in their stationery section. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stacking, you know, my stones, as if you're walking, you know, down the beach, and or if you're in the forest and you see the stone cairns. I think I want the darker ones over here. I think I need some more of the beige. And this one, can I do? Just kind of play around and see which ones I like. Okay, how simple is that? And then from there, I'll figure out, do I want the stone solid, or do I want, you know, to cut some of the holes out on them? So let me cut one out so I can show you. And this is where you can have some fun and start playing around. You've got some hollow ones and some solid ones. And you can really do this with any shape. Play around with geometric shapes, circles, triangles. And you can do a variety of shapes. So they don't have to all be ovals or whatnot. You can do, mix it up a bit. I think on this one, I'm just going to cut a little hole down at one end, just for something different. Okay, and then sometimes I like to overlap like so. How cute is that? And if you want to get creative, you can always kind of stick a little guy in the corner there. Starting to talk low beneath my breath again. I tend to do that when I start journaling because I'm just getting into the moment. And I'm concentrating. And then I have to remember, oh yeah, I'm doing a video, aren't I? And this is such a perfect little art technique for this boho beach journal. You know? Okay. And let's see. A little circle in there. Get little lines. I like this kind of egg shape. I'll stick that there, and doesn't really pop out enough. So let me get a darker color here. There we go. All right. So then the next step is gluing it down. So let me get my scrap piece of paper here. Glue this little guy first. So I like to keep my composition on the paper so I can remember where I placed them. And I just glue one piece at a time. Get in there. There's so many different ways to collage, and it's such a great way to practice your art when you're working in your art journals, because I find this is where I don't not only play with color, but I can work with composition. When I was teaching art, I specialized in teaching basic design, so the basics such as color, texture, and composition, which is a really big one of the fundamentals in art is just composition, you know, working with patterns, color, and texture to get that perfect aesthetic to your completed piece so that your eye moves around the paper. And this is a really good way. I used to do it an exercise with my students with shapes, and I would just have them have like little 4 pieces of paper, and they would be squares. We'd work with panels, and I would literally call out a shape, and they had to put that shape on the paper in any arrangement and I'd call out shapes, lines, squiggles, whatever it was. And in the end, they had to work with whatever was on their page to create a composition that worked and made your eye move around the page. And it's not, you know, an easy task for, it sounds, oh yeah, I could put shapes on a page, but for people that are learning how to do art, it's a really good technique to use to practice composition. And such as, you know, bringing shapes right off the page, which I found, you know, a lot of people have a hard time doing. It's something that takes practice. So this is another way of doing it. And I always, you know, tell people just to work with basic shapes when they're working on composition, and your art journal is the perfect place for that. As you can see, my composition's changing as I put these down, and that happens because the little pieces are moving, and I'm just still got to make sure it works. So if you find that's something that you need work on, just try, you know, working with various shapes and play with them in your art journal. Okay, so I got those down, but I think I want a couple more. I'm going to add some little pieces. I like having the little circles within the circles. And let's see, I'm going to cut this one down a bit. So I have a little one up here. I just want one at the top. There we go. Okay, so I have my little shapes down. How cute is that? My little rock cairns. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is get my ink out. Again, if you follow my art, you know I love using my acrylic ink. I use them in my paintings, my florals, and my ballerinas. Just adds another little element. Of course, I love my splatters. Kind of one of my signature things that I like to put in my art as my little splatters. And a lot of the art that I produce is conceptualized and thought out, and I find this is a way where I can get really free with my art when I'm using my acrylic ink. I think this ink is getting a little dry or low. Oops. I think I literally just put my hand in ink. And that's it for today. I'm going to turn it around so you can see from my point. And I'm going to take these off. And that's what we did today in our Boho Beach art journal, is my little rock cairns. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a quick little video, but like I mentioned, you can do this using a variety of shapes. And in fact, you can also do this using, if you like art journaling, using images. I've seen a lot of people do the little faces, little people. You can do them with little like people faces or flowers. But again, it's just a little technique that you can use to improve your composition. So thanks for joining me today, you guys, on my rock cairns in my Boho Beach journal, and I'll see you again next week.